Hello everybody and welcome back to the program. Today we are checking out Bing Crosby on vinyl. We've got box sets, I've got Christmas records, and of course compilations that you've seen everywhere in dollar bins and in record stores, probably all beat up, but mine are in pretty good shape. Some of the oldest pieces of vinyl I have in my collection happen to be Bing Crosby records, spanning from earliest 1945. In this new installment of the Crooner Collection, we're covering Bing Crosby today. We've already done Frank Sinatra, we've already done Dean Martin, and now it's time for the man himself, the man who inspires me the most. My grandpa loves Bing Crosby and introduced me to him and his movies for many years as a kid. His influence lasted on me my entire life. So I'm excited to share my love for Bing Crosby in this episode. But before I get started, check out Manza Illustrations. It's in the description of this video down below. We create high quality pieces of artwork, commission pieces, children's books, logos, you name it, whatever's rolling around in that brain of yours. I can make it a reality creatively. Reach out to Manza Illustrations today. I'll give you a quote and we'll get started on your project. That's what provides the time for me to go ahead and make these episodes for you guys. It was said that Dean Martin was a boxer starting out, and he wanted to break into the music scene, and who did he idolize but Bing Crosby? And Dean Martin, truth be told, was doing his best Bing Crosby impersonation when he started singing. So without further ado, let's dive into the man, the myth, the legend, the first original witty son of a gun in Bing Crosby. There's no one quite like him. No one quite had the finesse and the pizzazz that he bestowed upon the world. With his talents, his style, and his wit, he charmed audiences all over the world. The man's known for smoking a pipe, and he lives till he was born in what, the 20s, and he started in the late 20s, and he lived all the way up until the late 70s. I mean, that's something to behold. Just like the last couple times with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, not taking them out of the sleeves, but they're all in order from the very first release to what was the very last release, at least in my collection. They're all in order, so you could see the progression from the beginning to the end of his career. First up, I have this very valuable, not in great shape, little 33 1/3 7-inch type of thing. This was on Decca, and it's incredible. Ichabod, the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the work he did with Walt Disney in 1949. Bing Crosby narrating this whole thing. It's like a radio kind of drama, radio play. It's fascinating to read the write-ups, the other side. So Rip Van Winkle's on the B side, Ichabod on the A side. The whole story, fantastic. And it just plays just like the movie, the Disney movie you always remembered. Though this is a library copy, not in amazing shape, the library kind of card sat right here over the top of this. Who would put that right there? Collector's piece right here, ruined it. But, you know, wrote all over it, stamped all over it from the library in New York. But this is my all-time favorite and my oldest Bing Crosby record. Up next from 1950, we have another 7-inch, kind of 33 1/3 on Brunswick, collector series, long playing record. Has about 8 songs on it on Brunswick. Very, very nice. I don't know if these are shellac. They feel like vinyl, though. They could be shellac. I don't think so. Unbreakable on the bottom, it says. Okay. Yeah, a collection with a beautiful label there. It's in good shape. That's from 1950. So these are some of my oldest records that I've got. Up next on Capitol, we've got High Society from, I think, 58, 59. Love the cover illustrations here. I'm really a sucker for these illustrated, kind of painted looking, realistic covers that old records used to have. You know, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra all had these kinds of illustrated covers, and just incredible looking. The style, amazing. This one, not a favorite, but I do value it in my collection. Bing with a Beat, with Bob Scobie's Frisco Jazz Band. So this is from 58. Really swinging. I love it when Bing likes to swing and isn't in his kind of big, like kind of operatic, slower tunes. Those are great, but not my speed. Bing has to swing. And he's got to be smooth, and the upbeat songs always used to get me. They were always my favorite when I was listening to him the most, was when he was upbeat. And this whole album, upbeat. If you love jazz, if you love big bands, this you can't go wrong. Also from 58, we've got Bing Sings, Bing Crosby Sings. The cover is a little bit beat up, but it's a nice piece to even just look at. This has songs like In the Good Old Summertime, and songs like the Chattanooga Shoeshine Boy really swing, and that adds a lot. We've got Bing in Paris. Beautiful picture of him, nice colors. I like the kind of pastel, and the background. This is on Decca Records. Also not a favorite, but they're always in beat up shape, aren't they? These Bing Crosby records are like beat to crap. I recommend picking it up. I recommend picking up all of these if you're a fan. If you see them and they're in good enough shape, pick them up. They're not overly expensive to get Bing Crosby. And how could you not honor the man by having his records in your house? Just so many from 58. We've got children's records. I guess he was a hit with the Ichabod from Walt Disney Records. He was commissioned to do a few more, I can say, children's narrated kind of stories. His voice was great for narration. He had a booming, sort of smooth, syrupy baritone voice, so perfect for radio, narration, singing, crooning, and this is no exception. I've never listened to this, but the cover is fantastic, in perfect condition. And another sing-along record from Bing, same year, we've got Never Be Afraid, The Emperor's New Clothes, narrated and sung by Bing Crosby. Now it's correct. I mean, it's not even printed correctly, which could add to the value, or it just means it fell apart completely and somebody taped it incorrectly. Probably the case. But either way, I enjoy having it in the collection. Next up, from like 1959, we've got Bing and Satchmo with Billy May. This is a step up, isn't it? This is like a great Billy May. I highly recommend this one. This is great. Incredible jazz. Let's go ahead and look at the vinyl. This is on MGM. Again, I picked all these up very cheaply for a great jazz record in stereo with Satchmo and Bing. You can't get much better if you're into swing. A great movie featuring Bing and Debbie Reynolds, Say One For Me. I remember watching this with my grandpa. He would be downstairs and explain to me, okay, so Bing Crosby's a priest, you know, he's teaching the kids how to sing, they had the Catholic school, and so that's kind of the gist of it. I always remember those scenes of him teaching the kids. He had great chemistry teaching and going back and forth with the kids. Such a smoothness that really made an impact on me. We're in the 1960s now with this from 1960, Bing and Sing Along. Join Bing and sing along. 33 great songs. 33 great songs. You get songs like You're a Grand Old Flag, good for very, very old people or good for very, very young kids. One of the two. Kind of no in between here, but a good pressing. This is a good piece of vinyl. Very nice. You know, all four corners are squared off. Nice cover. These drawings on the cover, painted beautifully. Very admirable. You know, we've started to see the Bing Crosby little line art logo here for the first time. Incredible. This is in the shrink wrap on Decca Records as well. This I found still in the shrink wrap at a yard sale, and it's on the rainbow kind of Decca rainbow label. How cool. So you get a couple of Christmas songs on this record, because of course it's Holiday Inn. Better than White Christmas in my opinion. I love Holiday Inn. Every year I want to watch it, but it's hard to find it on streaming. So you really have to either get a DVD or something, download to watch Holiday Inn. But it's a great movie, I highly recommend. Fred Astaire, amazing. This was a whole series Bing did. He's got all these different kind of colors in the background with him doing different poses and different hats, and it's all like these paintings like this illustration. Zing a Little Crosby logo again on the top, and we've got just songs like The Road to Bali, Just for You, The Flight of Fancy, Zing a Little Zong. Bing's Hollywood series is what this is called. So I have this one and the pink cover you just saw, both in the early 60s on Decca. America, I Hear You Singing. This has This Land Is Your Land, You Never Had It So Good, Stars and Stripes Forever, I Hear You Singing, and others. So this is all done live, all done with Frank Sinatra and orchestra, all one take, two take tops. They don't do a lot of, overdubbing and a lot of experimentation. It's all done in one shot. Very admirable. I think what ended up happening is every time I see a Bing Crosby record that I don't have and it's in good shape, I pick it up. My wife and I are crate digging through places, and she'll find a Bing Crosby record. She'll pull it out and say, "Zach, you don't have this one. Let's get this one." Like, okay. I just go along with it because it's cute. She found it. It's kind of cool. I don't have it, so might as well, complete the collection as much as I can, because I love Bing so much. Later on in his career, we've got just a Bing Crosby simple illustrated cover again. Very cool, painted. This is on Metro high-fidelity records. He's doing jazz standards like September in the Rain and things like that. Very, very cool to hear him sing those. Next up, a compilation of sorts. Very cool. Very cool. I'll open this one so you can see the inside. It is a gatefold. We've got black and white pictures of the early days in like the early 40s, late 30s of Bing, just performing and singing in those very early black and white films. And we've got a cool illustration of him on the bottom here. Very nice to see. Bing Crosby in Hollywood, 30 to 34, 1930 to 34. Nice write-up, liner notes and things like that, and still pictures from some of those early films. This was before he even got with Bob Hope. And these are different selections from MGM, Universal, Paramount, and things like that, all spanning his career from the early 30s to mid 30s. And it's on a Columbia 6i, right? Yeah, no, Columbia 2i in mono. Very nice. Very cool piece to add to the collection, something I've never seen. Up next from 1961, Sing Along with Bing Crosby and his friends, RCA Victor. This man loved to sing a myriad of songs, all of which had his kind of style infused into each and every one of them. They're different than any cover you'll ever hear, because Bing had a certain way of delivery that was only his, and a very, very unique and very admirable to listen to, enjoyable to listen to. Very later on in his career, this is a 77 copy of Volume 1 of Crosby Classics. Now, to be honest with you, you're not going to really remember a lot of these songs. The names of them, the titles of them, they're not like staples. They're deeper cuts that, in the swing jazz kind of sector. None of these albums seem to have the same old staple of song that you'll see, like Come Fly With Me's on it seems every Frank Sinatra record has, like Fly Me to the Moon and all that stuff on all the compilations. All Bing's compilations are very different, very unique, and have all different kinds of songs. So it's always a new listening experience when you get a new Bing Crosby record, if you want to spin it and see what it sounds like. Next up, I got this for my birthday many years ago. Very cool compilation. This is a 10th anniversary collection, not a gatefold, on Silver Eagle Records. Very cool. Has so many songs on it. 10 songs per side and 3 albums. All I could say is this man made a lot of music, and his career spanned a long time, and all of it's on vinyl, all of it's accessible to get, and all of it's worth listening to. That being said, all of it's worth listening to if you have the time and you love spinning vinyl and you love Bing Crosby enough to go ahead and spin all of his records, but they are worth your time. Getting much later on now, 1970s, we've got Hey Jude. Hey Bing! Very nice back illustrations there, nice, pen and ink art. Very interesting to see. I love Bing's hat here. He went with a German style cap for a long time with all the different pins on it and his pipe. It was a very unique look. Nobody else did that look. And him golfing in this kind of attire was very top tier style. He was a breed of his own, for sure. But with all those compliments, I must say, and I've said this before with my Dean Martin collection, when they start to do like Beatles songs and later 70s tracks, like stupid covers of pop rock people of the time, they need to stay in their lane. Bing Crosby cannot be singing Hey Jude. I'm sorry. It doesn't work. It comes off like a kitschy act, and it doesn't have his branding all over it, because all I hear is that Beatles song. It doesn't come from a place of pureness for Bing to me. It feels like somebody told him, hey, that song by the Beatles is very popular. Why don't you go ahead and sing Hey Jude? It'll get some sales. That's what that sounds like to me. But again, this cover alone, look at this. Drawing, illustrated, colored pencil. Love it. Next up, That's What Life Is All About. Singing songs, show tunes, Send in the Clowns, things like that, of the period, of the time. And it's very nice, but his voice kind of began to deteriorate as time went on. He got very gravelly, all that smoking caught up to him, and he began to look like this. And this was the closing chapter, called fantastic gatefold, beautiful looking pictures and write-ups of his entire career. And this piece features a beautiful illustration on the bottom that right there of Bing. Incredible. Like, that could be a tattoo for somebody if they wanted, if they loved Bing enough. But this is just the closing chapter. Some of the last things he did was this record, as well as that Little Drummer Boy cover with David Bowie as well in the late 70s. He died in 1977. The man made it a very long time. And now we've got the Christmas and compilation box sets section of this video. So now we're going from the earliest Christmas records, which are some of the earliest Bing records I have. This is no exception. We've got Christmas Greetings, Bing Crosby. I put this out every single year, just out display it because it's beautiful. It's a great collector's piece. It's got like 4 45s inside, and I touched them because I'm not going to play these. These are simply collector's items at this point. I keep them in the best condition possible. Nice little write-up on the inside. This is my earliest Bing Crosby record from 1945. We've got this Christmas with the Andrew Sisters, Jingle Bells, and all those hits that you hear every single year. This was the precursor to that classic white covered with Bing in the Santa hat classic that we all know and love. This was the precursor to that kind of those early tracks. Made it onto another compilation later on. And yes, this is that Christmas record that started it all for me. My Bing Crosby love started with this record, played at my house with my mom, single mother raising me. She would play this, and we'd be brought back to happy times with my grandparents, my family. We'd always play this on CD. As we, got the tree ready, got everything decorated, got the house ready. And this is a much later pressing on like MCA records. But you want to have a sort of later pressing because you want it to sound good. These tracks already sound so very old. They're from like 1945, like 1950s. The audio already sounds old, so you want it to not be added further. You don't want it to be deteriorated more in a old vinyl copy. So you kind of want a newer copy of this to have and to cherish. I mean, this is a beautiful white. I cleaned this up quite a bit to get it this white, and that's the fun of this, isn't it? To get it looking perfect again. And this is just one of the best covers. This is a combination of a photo that's also got illustrated elements on it. I believe his collar and his tie are illustrated, like colored pencil, and his hat too is colored pencil, but the picture itself is a photograph. That's fascinating that it's a combination like that. Before we had Photoshop and all that kind of stuff, this is what we had. Ingenuity, creativity, pencil, paper, and pictures is all we had to work with. Fascinating. Great. This is one of my favorite Bing Crosby records, of course. Isn't it all of our favorites so far? Just those arrangements alone he did with the Andrews Sisters are unforgettable. The arrangements, the harmony, the way they would sing and scat against each other and play against each other's harmony. His entire work with the Andrews Sisters is incredible. Up next, just a little compilation with Frank Sinatra. We've got like a live radio recording This is a Happy Holiday with Frank and Bing. This is all just like a radio show. They're kind of going in and out of different kinds of stories, holiday tales, as well as all the different songs, the holiday songs as well. Not the best recording, not the best audio recording. This honestly sounds like it's recorded with a tape recorder, but it's still a great piece to have. Found it in the dollar bin. And all of these Christmas records end up being later on in his career because he became the Christmas man, the holiday man, the man for Christmas, the face of Christmas, I can say. He was influential on in so many ways. Another children's record where he narrates and sings A Christmas Story. This is a very unique story. I listened to this once. It's kind of got like this Paul Bunyan character, this giant with an axe, and Johnny Appleseed, kind of just Americana classic Bing Crosby singing and narrating Christmas tracks yet again. Another classic you may know from the mid-60s, you may have seen Bing Crosby, I Wish You a Merry Christmas. He was the classic illustrated cover man. This man had more illustrated covers than any of them I've seen. He had the definitely great graphics team putting together all of his press for his records. Just a Christmas compilation on Warner Brothers Records. Great pickup, all dollar records. Songs for Christmas, him and his wife on the cover. Getting later on in the career, again, still doing Christmas songs because he was so famous with his Christmas songs. The warmth of his voice brought families across America joy, comfort, and happiness by hearing his melodies through the instrument of his own voice. What a great talent. Up next, this later copy, this Fanny Farmer presents Christmas with Bing Crosby. Cool cover there, nice picture. And we've got another black and white painting here. Angels We Have Heard on High. You know the Christmas songs, they're all on it yet again. Many different compilations with Christmas songs. This is 1977's Bing Crosby Christmas Classics. He became just the old staple, sitting on the piano. Nobody was better at it than he at doing these Christmas tracks. Just another older Bing singing old Christmas songs. This one's kind of different. You got a very old picture of Rockefeller Center here with the tree, and how small the tree looked way back when. How humble America was at the time, whereas now everything's over the top, everything is gigantic. But look how tiny that tree is. Just a simple tree in Rockefeller Center. Something very moving about this cover. A Christmas Sing with Bing around the world. These are just all different Christmas carols. The cover and condition is what I'm there for, and this is a very cool piece right here. We've got Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, and Fred Waring again. 12 songs of Christmas. This one features one of my favorites, We Wish You the Merriest. I love that song. Very hard to find on vinyl. And then we've also got I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, a Frank Sinatra tune. But this is the copy you want, the original copy that has both I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day and We Wish You the Merriest. Those two tracks you hear all the time in department stores, but I wanted it on vinyl. So this is that vinyl that you get those two songs on. I appreciate you making it this far through the video. I'm going to show you all my box sets now. This man's career was a huge span of time, so we've got a lot of pieces of vinyl. This is the Decca Years, simply called Bing. You've probably seen this before many times in record stores. I paid $11.99 for it. These things are not worth much of anything. And then here you've got, I don't know if you could see that, but it says Bing, Decca Records. And a little quote, the voice of Bing Crosby has been heard by more people than the voice of any other human being who ever lived, on the inside. How cool is that? All of these on black Decca record labels, if you can see that. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. They're all black Decca record labels. But the spine there, it's just, you would think that this would be worth a little bit more than $11.99, but unfortunately that's what it's worth. And it's just so cool to see and to have. I love this. Next box set is this. We've got a Bing Crosby's Treasury, the songs I love. This kind of gives me a late 70s vibe, although I know it's probably the 60s. This is the gold medal presentation. I have one of these for Dean Martin as well. but just whenever you see them, I always have to pick them up. It shows you all the different, it's got 6 records in here, all different kinds of tracks. This is also the Longing Symphony Society. This is also the same company that made that Dean Martin one that I love so much. I always find that the artwork on them is very admirable, very cool illustration. Here is another box set. This is called Bing Crosby and His Friends Present the Murray Radio Theater, 4-record set, another illustrated cover, colored pencil as well again. And we've got just these black vinyl Murray Hill labels. So just all different kinds of tracks, Bing Crosby and His Friends. How cool is that with all the different pictures around like this? Very cool presentation. I like to see that. That's very good. Clean these up and never played them. I just like to have them completist. And last but not least are these 3 78s that I've got. These 3 sets are on Decca Records and just amazing. I found these in like a nursery school that was having a sale. This was like 75 cents I paid for this. Favorite songs of Hawaii. How cool. I mean, that's just awesome, but these are all old Decca Records 78s, really heavy and really clean too. Like very, very clean, very old, very clean. So that's one of them. Another one I have are the cowboy songs, all of the Western tunes from Bing. These are super, super old. Again, on Decca Record, very, very clean looking, very heavy 78s. These are shellac for sure. Just by feeling them alone, they're so much heavier than vinyl would be. And then Don't Fence Me In, the last piece of vinyl I've got here from Bing Crosby. I love to be a completist in collecting one of my favorite musical artists' output on the medium that it was put out on originally, which was vinyl. So I love the physical media. And I support my favorite artists. I love the pictures, I love the music, I love the physicality, and these spare no expense in providing me a great listening and auditory and visual experience all throughout. I know I'd beat myself up if I didn't do the piece that was right behind me the entire video. We've got the Best of Bing, MCA Records. I got this at a Salvation Army in the next town over. Look how clean this is. Like $1 I paid for this, maybe $5 tops. Beautiful pieces of music, all of which are highly, highly recommended. This cover alone is my favorite. Just the colors, the concept, the fonts. This is definitely an early 60s Bing, late 50s perhaps. You got the Rainbow MCA Records label. And what's also cool is they have the original MCA inner sleeves, which are cool as well. This exact compilation came out in 1977, but it definitely has an early 60s vibe to it, no doubt. Probably because Bing Crosby kind of laid the groundwork for that style of that wholesome, classic, innocent, but yet smooth and stylish sense of music and physicality and dancing, and the man could do it all. He just was so smooth. Overall, a very cool collection of vinyl. I'm glad you stuck to the end of this video to see it through and to see all the pieces of vinyl. Do you own any of these? Which ones did you want to pick up from any of these that you saw? What did you like the most? I want to know about it. Please leave me a comment down below, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any inquiries. You go ahead and leave me a comment, and I want to thank you for swinging along with me and listening to me talk all about Bing Crosby records in this episode. I will catch you folks in the next episode. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. It really supports the channel. And with that out of the way, you can find me lounging to a melody. Take care, folks. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Thank you folks for tuning into this episode. If you do feel so inclined as to follow me on social media, you may gladly do so at Manza Media Art and Manza Media on every other platform. If you like prints, I've got an Etsy shop where you can see some of my original artwork and fan artwork. I'll catch you folks on the next episode of Manza Media.